Let's talk about booster boxes for a minute, because booster boxes are basically this flagship product of the Pokemon TCG. They're the thing that every collector wants to open, but they're also the thing a lot of collectors are afraid to open. And over the last year or two in this hobby, something interesting has happened. Most collectors aren't even buying booster boxes at retail anymore. They're buying them at a premium, which means every time someone buys a booster box now, they're asking the same question. Do I rip it or do I keep it sealed? No jingle needed. Because booster boxes are the flagship product of Pokemon, but ironically, they're also one of the worst products to open if you're thinking about value. Welcome back to Entei's Inferno. This is your first time here. My name's Kris. Nice to meet you. We talk about the Pokemon hobby from a collector and vendor perspective in this podcast. The collecting side, the grading side, the marketing side, and sometimes the weird contradictions that make this hobby so interesting. If you enjoy conversations like this, make sure you follow the podcast wherever you're listening or subscribe on YouTube, and check out my content on Instagram at Entei's Inferno TCG. All right, today we're talking about booster boxes, and more specifically, the balance between ripping packs and holding sealed product. Now, before anyone jumps to conclusions and calls me investor bro or a scalper, let me explain where I stand. I collect sealed, and I'm not collecting sealed because I think I'm some Pokemon stock trader. I collect sealed because I understand the long-term value of sealed product. A booster box represents an entire moment in the hobby. The Pokemon, the artwork, the chase cards, the set design. Even the box itself becomes nostalgic over time, the way it looks, the colorway. Look at Fusion Strike, for example, pink. But I also completely understand the other side of the hobby. Opening packs is what makes Pokemon fun. Kids opening packs, collectors chasing hits. That excitement is the foundation of the hobby, people. So the hobby needs both. People ripping packs and people holding sealed product. I mean, if you want to hate on sealed product, that's fine. But I do really have to say, if you display your sealed product properly, it really is cool looking. I mean, you can see some of these content creators out there that have incredible sealed product displays. I mean, look at the Pokeplumber, for example. This guy's got incredible stuff. But here's the honest reality about booster boxes. Opening them is not usually profitable. You're chasing the possibility of pulling a big hit, and sometimes it happens. But most of the time, it does not. That's just how probability works, people. Which is why sealed product tends to perform well over time. Because once those packs are open, the supply slowly disappears. And sealed boxes become rarer and rarer, which in turn makes them more valuable. Another thing that's changed in the last couple of years is how people buy booster boxes. 2 or 3 years ago, a lot of collectors would walk into a store and buy a booster box close to retail. They'd go on a website or something along the lines of Pokemon Center or another hobby shop or your local card shop. Now, that happens a lot less. Most of the time, people are paying a premium for these booster boxes, which makes the decision even harder because when you pay a premium for a box, suddenly opening it feels riskier. And that's one of the big shifts we've seen in the hobby. I mean, think about it. If you're buying, let's make math super simple, a booster box for $360. There's 36 packs in a booster box. You are now at $10 a pack. If in this set you have 2 or 3 good cards that are over $100, the rest you have like maybe 5 or 10 in the $50 range, tends to stretch. But the rest of them, if there's even any more hits in the set, if it's a bigger set, are $10, $20 a hit. Now, typically in a booster box, you get a few hits here and there, but there's a lot of hits that are under that pack value mark. Regular EXs, weak IRs, things like that. So you might open 36 packs for $360, and you might end up with a chase card that makes it worth it, but most likely not. You might end up with 6 to 10 hits. The total value of those hits, $100, $150. So you just spent $360 to make back $150. It's not really a good play, is it? Now, back in the day, it was a little bit more digestible. You were spending $125 to $175 for a booster box, and maybe you didn't get those hits, but you got 5 to 8 hits, and maybe you get $100 back or $75 back. I could digest that. That's worth the risk to me. And it was worth the risk for a lot of other people too. But now things have changed. Now let's get back to booster boxes in terms of long-term value. Not every set ages well. Some sets explode in values. Others just sit and don't get opened and nobody cares for them. Now, when I evaluate a set, I look at a few things. First and foremost, the Pokemon in the set. Charizard, Pikachu, Rayquaza, Lugia, Gengar, Mew, Umbreon. Those Pokemon carry sets alone. Second is the artwork. Amazing artwork keeps collectors interested for years. And a lot of times, people miss amazing artwork because maybe it's not valuable in the beginning. And then someone catches wind of it later on when it's harder to get your hands on that pack. Boom, that card could shoot up in value as well. And third, how deep is the set design? Does it have depth? If a set only has one big chase card and everything else is extremely weak, that's usually not a great sign. I'd like to talk about what I said in a recent Blazing Takes on my Instagram page. Phantasmal Flames is a very top-heavy set. You have the incredible Mega Charizard X EX SIR. It is worth, at the time of this recording, $800 raw. But outside of that, the depth of that set drops off very, very quickly. You have a Mega Charizard full art, you have a Dawn SIR, but outside of maybe Meowth and Piplup being IRs, it's really a weak set. Now, when I talked about this in my Blazing Takes, I didn't think it was going to do as well as it did. That Charizard is so incredible that it is carrying the set and it's going to take it to new highs. And another thing that I didn't really think too much about was how much people want to pull that Charizard. So people are opening this set at a higher rate than any other set that's came out recently, which means that there is going to be more scarcity of this set later on in the future. More people that open it, the less boxes that are available later. And the only chance that you'll be able to hit that Charizard at near mint value is if you pull it in a pack 10, 20 years from now. So this set, and I was wrong with my Blazing Takes, I think is going to have a very good long-term value. Now, let's compare this to something like Mega Evolution Base. People hear base set and immediately assume it's weak, because historically, a lot of base sets have sucked. And it's usually because they had a lot of trainers, they didn't have a lot of good Pokemon, or maybe they were a smaller set. This kind of checks all those boxes. It has amazing hits, has great artwork, and it has so much depth with strong value across the board. So even though people categorize it as a base set, it's actually a very strong set overall. And the reason why, let's look a little bit deeper into the set. You have the two golds up top, which, same thing with Phantasmal. The golds are cool. They don't really tickle any fancies for the collectors, in my opinion. Maybe some people want them. The only real reason that they have value is because they're so hard to hit. But when we look at Mega Evolution Base, you have the Gardevoir SIR, Lucario SIR, Venusaur SIR, Latias SIR, Kangaskhan SIR, Absol SIR. Now, Kangaskhan and Absol aren't extremely popular Pokemon, but they are cool. They do have a little bit of a fan base, and the artwork they did a great job with. They also don't have a lot of SIRs or IRs of those cards, so it's really cool to see that. And let's not forget, Lily's Determination has an SIR, and we know how waifu people are. But if you look deeper into the set, you have the full evolutionary set with the Venusaur. So you have the Bulbasaur and the Ivysaur, which are all combo cards with the same art. Incredible. You also have some really, really strong illustration rares in this set. I mean, we can start at the bottom with the Litleo, which is one of those like kind of cute cards similar to like the Furret from Journey Together. You also have a Shuckle, which gives me kind of Magikarp / Tatsuguri vibes from Twilight Masquerade. Really cool colorway, cool design. Not the most popular Pokemon, but people do like Shuckle. It's kind of a funny Pokemon. So that one's really cool. But let's get even deeper. The Steelix IR, the Marshadow IR, the Vulpix IR. These 3 cards specifically, the Steelix, incredible artwork. Such a cool Steelix card. A lot of Steelix fans out there. That card just looks cool. The Marshadow card, it's got a Pikachu cameo. I mean, yeah, it's Marshadow, but it's Pikachu. And we all love cameos. And that Vulpix card is awesome. Finally, a cute Pokemon, but also really cool artwork that personally I enjoy, which gives me the vibes of the Flareon V from Evolving Skies, that promo card. I think this set has so much potential and is going to be very strong long term. Okay, now, looking back at Sword and Shield, I think there are still some sleeper sets. Sets like Brilliant Stars, for example. Now, Brilliant Stars has the Charizard V alt art, which alone carries a lot of long-term value for the set. But what people ignore for whatever reason is how strong the set is past that. Yeah, of course, you have the Charizard V Star, Charizard V, you have the full art Charizard. Yeah, Charizard. But what's different with this set versus something like Phantasmal Flames is look at the other cards in this set. You have an Arceus V alt art. Incredible card. You have a couple other cool cards within the regular set, but it has a trainer gallery. And that trainer gallery is strong. I think it might be the strongest trainer gallery out there. You have Umbreon VMAX, Umbreon V, Sylveon VMAX, Sylveon V, Mimikyu VMAX, Mimikyu V. So right there, you have 6 very strong cards of 3 very strong Pokemon. But you also have the evolutions. You have a Vaporeon, a Flareon, a Jolteon, and an Eevee. You also even have a Zekrom. I mean, that alone gives that set a very, very, very strong chance, and I think it's still very underrated. Another set that I will talk about is Silver Tempest. Now, this is one of the sets that kind of got me back into collecting, so I'm a little biased, but I think it's justified, and I'll explain why. That Lugia alt art, for example, incredible. Huge chase card, such cool vibes. You also have the Unknown alternate art. You also have the other Lugia cards, the V-Star, things like that. But you also have a Lugia cameo card, which a lot of people look past as an alt art. But let's look at this trainer gallery. Another trainer gallery that I think is extremely strong. You have the Rayquaza VMAX, which is such a sick card. But you also have other Pokemon that people really like. Blaziken VMAX, Blaziken V. You have a Serperior. You have another Rayquaza Secret, similar to that Mew Secret in Fusion Strike. You even have a Blissey and a Zeraora. You have a Gardevoir, a Melodic, and an Altaria. I mean, there's a lot of really, really cool cards in this trainer gallery. So when you combined iconic Pokemon with strong artwork, it has a lot of collector appeal, and those sets tend to age very well long term. So at the end of the day, booster boxes represent one of the most interesting balances in the Pokemon hobby. Opening them is a part of the fun, but holding them sealed can be a great long-term decision. And the hobby needs both sides, the rippers and the sealed collectors. So now I'm curious, are you opening your booster boxes? Or are you putting them on a shelf? Or are you doing a little bit of both? Let me know wherever you're listening, and if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you follow the podcast and check out my content on Instagram at Entei's Inferno TCG. Follows, subscriptions really help me out. Thanks for listening to Entei's Inferno, and I'll catch you on the flip side.